Said, "Oh, hello, girls. I'm so glad you're here. Roberta's been having a terrible time." And it was in my mother's writing. And my sister and I looked at each other, and then picked our jaws up off the floor and sat down for the rest of the letter. Now, I believe that's physical evidence.
What's the most astounding physical evidence that you've ever heard of within, maybe you've had firsthand experience with?
Well, that's pretty astounding.
That is pretty astounding.
Mm-hmm. So I think I'll settle for that, although there have been miraculous healings, hands-on healing, done by the agency of spirit. I work with angels, and I conduct angel seminars, and I always ask for angel stories. And these are spirits. They're not human beings. They're beings of light who work as God's messengers. And there are stories, they're being published now. James Van Praagh talks about spirit return. I would have to say some of the healings I've been part of are absolutely miraculous. But I would go back to the beginning again, 3 weeks after my mother died, when I knew beyond any shadow of a doubt she wasn't dead. There's no way, upside down with a pencil, with her crying, that Roberta could have copied my mother's handwriting, nor would she have wanted to. No.
I see. She was actually writing, holding her hand
like this.
In this way?
And my mother's handwriting. And my mother at the end. My mother's name was Stranahan, her maiden name. And my grandfather had a poultry farm. Well, when my mother was in school, as school children do, they made fun of her name. They called her Ruth Scratchahen. And at the bottom of the page, she didn't sign Mom. She drew a lovely picture of a little hen scratching.
That's quite a story.
Yeah.
So you said you weren't a practicing spiritualist at that time.
Until that time.
And before then you were a sort of agnostic where this was concerned?
Not an agnostic. I accepted that because my family believed it, and because I myself, from time to time, had spirit come in and speak through me. Although I didn't see them, I didn't hear them. They just actually gave information to other people through me. And I was told that was something that was done in spiritualism, and I knew I was taking part in it. And I knew from the age of 10 that I could know things before they happened. So I said, yes, I'm a practicing spiritualist. But to study as a medium and become that familiar with spirit. Spiritualists are members of a spiritualist church. All spiritualists are not mediums. Mediums develop with a desire to establish direct communication with spirit and to serve the churches with messages from the other side.
And these would be sort of the exalted or the clergy of this community. Would that?
Yes, very much in a sense. Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you've done this for 5 generations, and you said your daughter is doing this as well?
Yes, she's teaching mediumship in Rochester, New York. She's a president of a spiritualist church there.
I see. I see. And so you feel this is a Presbyterian movement, but it's
no Protestant.
Protestant
Yes.
Protestant movement.
In that it's not Catholic, and that we do look on the New Testament in a different way. In spiritualism, we do not accept that there needs to be any intermediary between yourself and God, and that the God in us can absolve us, and that it's our responsibility to find that Godhood within and live to its principles, and that everyone is free to seek their own truth. We don't believe in creed or dogma. Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to be a certified medium?
It means, first of all, that I've studied mediumship under some responsible institution. I studied through the NSAC, the National Spiritualist Association of Churches, when I was a member of that church, and vice president, by the way, and took a correspondence course, and then served the church for a year as a medium, and then was certified by the church. Later, I sat an examination for the Lilydale Assembly, and they certified me also as a medium so that I could do public readings in Lilydale.
What does that have to do with being a reverend?
That's not a reverend. In the church I now belong to, which is the Church of the Living Spirit, if you want to become a reverend, you must study mediumship.
I see. And
healing, and pass certification by the church in those areas before you are ordained as a reverend.
How do you know when someone is ripe to be taught?
Well, they come and ask for teaching. There are several spiritual laws that have been put into English phrases. One of them is, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And the teacher can be your mother, your father, your spouse, a stranger on the street. You're moved to attend a class. You're drawn to reading books. Life itself teaches us. And when you're ready for a lesson in growth in any way, then I think in personal relationships or in relationships with human beings and sometimes animals, and especially giving birth to children and raising them, everyone teaches us. But when we're ready, there's a specific teacher who comes.
There's a lot of people. We had a woman on the show that was a Wiccan, and she ran a store, a business, and a lot of the young people would come into the store, and they would ask her for spells and all manner of things. And she found that these children were looking for power. They were looking to have certain wishes fulfilled.